everybody, and welcome back to the Late Night Yap. We have another episode, and I am so glad that you're here to join us today. I did pick a theme today, and we are going with wedding stories. So I hope that I can find some juicy drama ones and, yeah, get this thing popping this episode with some juicy good stories. And also, I am sorry if I talk a little bit weird. I have like a cut or something on my tongue, on like at the very side of my tongue, and it hurts really bad. I don't remember biting my tongue necessarily, but I don't know. It's been hurting me. So, even like eating, it hurts to eat on that side. So if I talk a little bit funny, I'm sorry about it. But, and then also, I have to try to not talk too loud, because my neighbors are now home and I don't want to wake them up. So I also apologize if I sound like I'm talking really low. It's because I am talking pretty low. But I have the microphone turned up a little bit more, so I think hopefully like it should be fine. But whatever. It's all right. So, anyways, we are going to get into our wedding drama stories. So, the bride told us to wear neutrals, then got upset that no one wore color. I attended a wedding last weekend for a coworker I am friendly with. It was a lovely event. Outdoor ceremony, simple decorations, and honestly, a very chill vibe overall. There was a weird bit of tension that started before the wedding even happened, and it came to a head at the reception. In the invitation under dress code, the bride had written, "Please wear neutral tones. Think beige, cream, soft gray, taupe, or dusty rose. Let the flowers bring the color." I thought that was a cute idea and respected her wishes. I ended up wearing a soft beige jumpsuit, and most of the other guests were in similar shades: cream, tan, champagne, dusty pinks, very muted and elegant. But at the reception, during her toast, the bride jokingly said, "I thought you guys would surprise me with a few pops of color, but I guess everyone really listened." It got an awkward laugh, but you could tell she was genuinely disappointed. Later on, I overheard her talking to one of her friends saying it looks like everyone dressed for a funeral. Girl, people wear all black to a funeral. I don't know. A few people started wondering if they had misunderstood the dress code, but we all double checked the wording was very clear. She didn't say optional neutrals, she asked for them. I even texted the group it came up with before we arrived and confirmed the exact phrasing. Now, some mutuals are saying that she is annoyed at how seriously everyone took it and that she wanted more vibrancy in the photos. Personally, I think if you want a specific look, you have to own it, not get passive aggressive when people do what you ask. It wasn't a blowout or anything, but it definitely left some guests feeling awkward, especially those who spent time and money picking out something that would fit her theme. Relevant comment says, "Oh no, she got what she asked for." And OP replied, "Seems like she did get exactly what she asked for. Sometimes that's just how it goes." Another relevant comment says, "This reminds me of the scene from The Office where Kelly says Daryl is so complicated because who says exactly what they're feeling? Every guest did what she wanted and she was confused. Though to me it sounds like that she regrets that vision in her head because it didn't look as cool once executed." As an Office fan, it does kind of sound like that time when Kelly was like, "Who says exactly what they're thinking?" Kelly was kind of crazy though. Let's just be honest, she was a little crazy girl. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I have kind of like a personal thing that I want to kind of say here. So, when I had my baby shower, I specifically asked everybody to wear blue because we knew I was having a boy. And I know like the whole gender thing, and that's fine. But I'm somebody that wanted that for my baby shower. But anyway, so I wanted everyone to wear blue, and I said if you don't have anything like blue necessary, like a blue top or something, like if you wore blue jeans, you could wear a white top or a black top. You know what I mean? Just don't wear pink. Cause I was like, if we're having a boy and the baby shower is like blue themed, I was in a blue dress, like, and let me tell you, there was one person, I'm not gonna name who it was, but there was one person who showed up in the brightest pink shirt that she possibly could have found in her closet. And when she walked up, I was like, girl, because literally everybody, because there was probably like, I don't know, there was probably like 20 people at this baby shower, and she was the only one wearing pink. Everybody else wore like a black shirt or a white shirt, and if they had a blue shirt, they wore the blue shirt. The only people that were not dressed in theme were the kids, because I didn't even mind, because kids are gonna wear what kids wear. They're not gonna like. It was just a baby shower. It wasn't anything extravagant. But for photos, I wanted everybody to look a certain way because it was a boy. And I was like, my gender reveal was very private. It was just, close family, but my baby shower wanted all of her friends there. But anyways, and she wore this pink shirt, and I was like, girl, I know for a fact I told you not to wear pink. And so she had to hide in the back of the photos when we took photos. But that's what you get for not listening. So she should be lucky that her friends took her dress code seriously and was like actually listened, because some people don't, and some people show up and they ruin like a lot of the visions that people have, just trying to, like, I don't know, not even, just not thinking and not listening. So, but yeah, the bride seems kind of like we got like a little bridezilla going on here. All right. So our next story here has a couple of different updates to it. So we're gonna go ahead and just get started on the first part of the story. Coworker asked me to be her man of honor. I said no, and she went nuts. What did I miss? This happened yesterday, and I'm still confused. Yesterday was my first day back to work after being off for 2 weeks. This is kind of important. One of my coworkers had gotten engaged the week before I left. When she announced at work, we all did the congratulations and happy for her type of things. I thought it was over. So when I left for vacation, the last thing I knew, no plans had been made yet. Then yesterday, I went back to work and my boss Kay and my best friend Elle said that the coworker C was looking for me. I asked what was up and they weren't sure, but she was carrying a little gift bag. A few minutes later, C found me and asked how my vacation was. I was telling them about how it was, and she cut me off and she said she had something very important to ask. She handed over a little gift bag and said that if I would be her best man of honor for her wedding. I thanked her and told her that typically this would traditionally go to a close female relationship. She responded that there was nothing traditional about her wedding, so it was good. I looked over at Elle and Kay, who were both trying to keep from laughing. I again thanked her, congratulated her, and told her I wasn't interested in being part of her wedding party and that I would be happier as a guest in the audience. I swear, when I said this, her whole entire demeanor changed and like a switch flipped. She went off, saying that I have to be in her wedding and that she doesn't understand why I would say no. I told her that we only knew each other for a short period of time and that I had no interest in planning parties, dinners, or shopping trips. She told me I needed to think about it and that she would get back to me later. I told her go for it, but my answer will be the same. She walked away, and I looked at Kay and Elle and asked, what the ever loving, fresh, creepy heck was that? Kay started to laugh and she said she didn't know, but saying no like I did might have saved me a lot of headaches in the future. Elle made the comment that she went straight to Bridezilla and this was just a look into what she was going to be like. C came back today, however, she went with a different approach and handed me a list of what she wants me to do with her vision and how she sees things. I asked her why she gave me this, and she said that as her man of honor, these were my responsibilities. I told her again I was not doing any of this. She started again that she needs me to do this and how much fun it's going to be. Then she asked, haven't you ever wanted to be a part of something special? I told her I was. I was a nurse. Enter Kay, who could sense that I needed help, and told C one of her patients needs help. I told Kay that if it keeps up, I might need her help. She said she was already watching and that she would intervene if she needed. What did I miss? We're not that close. She just transferred down to my unit from a different unit 6 months ago. I have no idea who she was up until this point. Ella's saying that she's close in age to me and she might feel that to be enough of a connection. Did I miss something? When we were asked, are we supposed to automatically gush and jump up and down in excitement? Why is saying no a bad thing? Some relevant comments here says it sounds like she has no one else in her life and you being around her age and nice to her was enough to give you the honor. Stay firm and don't give in. That same commenter actually commented because this is actually something that I was thinking myself as I was reading it. So, but from here, she says, the commenter says, also from your post history, I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, are you gay? Could she possibly be putting a lot of weird stereotypes into play here to make you her gay best friend and wedding planner? And then another commenter said, that's exactly what my mind went to. She must be cool by having the gay best friend. I was honestly at first, I was thinking if you haven't said it openly, that she's just like guessing that you're openly attracted to other men. I don't know. And she just sees that as kind of like, oh, this would be, I want to get on the good side. I don't know, man. It's such a weird situation. Okay, so this is update number 1. Hey everyone, first, I apologize. I never thought this was going to go as crazy as it did. I want all of you to know that I read your responses and responding to as many as I was able to. Thank you for all your amazing insights and comments, many that made me laugh, which I needed. I have been sick and that really helped cheer me up. I had to meet with my lawyer today regarding some family issues. My neighbor, best friend slash coworker Elle took me. I really felt awful and driving was not a good idea. We were talking about this on the way and we were both asking a lot of the same questions that all of you were asking. The big one was we were asking about the circumstances of her transfer. She went from med surg 4W to the ER. That's a huge change. I have to work tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. But Elle and I are going to ask Kay about the transfer and raise a couple of other concerns. After I got home from the meeting with my lawyer, I slept for the rest of the day. Many of you asked about C and I hanging out outside of work, and the answer is no. I really don't know anything about her. I've helped her a few times with patients and different things, but our relationship is 100% purely work related. That's why I was so surprised when she asked me to do this. That's why I was surprised when she asked me about being a man of honor. I have a very small friend base, and in all honesty, I like to keep it that way. I really have no interest in being a part of this. I'm not a wedding person. After reading so many Bridezilla stories and hearing about over the top weddings and how they have become a huge turnoff for me, spending tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars is insane. Unrealistic demands that turn people against each other. Why? I would rather use that money to spend time planning my next trip or vacation. Which I agree with OP here. So some of y'all were saying from like a story I posted before, like the average is like $30,000 for a wedding, and that is absolutely insane. Like, no. I don't think so. Not for me at least. Like, no. And some people were saying like people spend like I don't know, like $5,000 to $10,000 on a wedding dress. That's a lot of money for a dress that you're going to wear one time. And like I get it's a big deal, big event, big thing, but can't you can find a dress that's like $1,000. That's like a really nice dress. I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know. I don't really wear dresses, so I can't say for sure, but I just feel like that's just a lot of money that you could be putting into the honeymoon instead and having like an extravagant vacation instead of spending it on a wedding. I don't know. Many people said that I was being used as a token or prop in a wedding or a gay best friend. I never really thought about it. I admit that I am out and proud, but I'm not going to just pretend to be someone's friend so they can fulfill some kind of fetish they have for wanting a gay best friend or some kind of a status that she needs to fulfill. It takes me a lot to get offended, but if this were actually the case, I would be rather offended. I mean, but honestly, though, anybody would. You know what I mean? Like, that's really messed up. I was not put on the face of the earth to be someone's play toy. A lot of people have said that maybe she doesn't have a boyfriend. She does. She has brought him in before. If she has any insecurity, I don't understand it. She's attractive, smart, and knows her stuff. I'm at a loss as to why she's acting like this. Wait, hold on. That kind of confused me though, that she was saying maybe she doesn't have a boyfriend. If she's getting married, then wouldn't she have a fiance? I don't know. Anyways, a lot of people say go to HR. I'm starting the process with my boss, Kay. She is completely aware of the situation, being with us when all this happened. She has told me that she is watching the situation and will jump in if I need her to. I trust her. I trust her completely. While Kay and HR can control the situation from the hospital, they can't control the situation from a personal level if she were to maybe follow me home. So I think that covers it all. I wish I could say this is over, but most likely there's probably more to come. One relevant comment from this update says, I wonder if all of her friends said no, or if she just doesn't have as many as she says, or maybe her fiance has a best woman, so she feels threatened by that. And OP says, I love your possibilities. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, these are some really good points here. But there is definitely something that OP um is going to need to find out if this escalates any further and why this person was so adamant on like making them be their man of honor, which I don't even know, like, yeah, normally you would ask people that are like super close with you. Now, if it were a situation where maybe she just didn't have any friends, she could have came off of it differently and been like, "Hey, I think you're a really cool person. I think that you would be really perfect to do this if you would like to do it because I don't have anybody else to ask and I don't have any friends and I just feel like you would be the perfect, person to do it." And if they say no, they say no, and then maybe like just ask another coworker or like maybe don't even ask your coworkers. Maybe just hire somebody. I don't know. I don't know. So this is the second update. I keep forgetting to thank my boyfriend. He has been with me on this more in the background. At first, we were laughing about it, but when everything happened on Thursday, he was also there. Elle was able to get him away from his unit for a little bit for the it will be okay boyfriend hug. He stayed the night with me a couple of nights as well, helping me with being sick. So, yeah, I'm very lucky to have really great support. This intro is going to be long, but I'm telling you this for a reason, and later this update will make sense. I'm hoping this will be done and that this will be the last of the whole situation. I was born in a family where I was referred to as an issue that needed to be dealt with. I lived in the shadows of my sister, who was the child my parents wanted. They wanted one child, which was a girl. That way, dad and his daddy girl and mommy's little princess. Then I came along. Keep in mind, I'm 23, so back when my parents had options but chose not to use those options. Instead, my parents raised my sister, and I was raised by a nanny who, even to this day, is one of the biggest influences in my life, and I'm very grateful to her. She helped me with so much. I finally realized all these years later that I'm being referred to as an issue that needed to be dealt with, that they stripped me of my humanity, individuality, and self worth as a person. I think that's why I've worked so hard to establish myself in my career and my life as a way to become a person again, not just by the issue that needed to be dealt with. This past Thursday, things came to a head with the Bridezilla known as C, and the truth came out. My best friend L has been sticking close to me when we worked together if C was to start something. We weren't sure if she was going to leave it alone or start it up again. I was really hoping it was done though. But she had once tried again, and I've been sick and had a busy morning, so I really just wanted a few minutes in the bathroom to grab a quick snack and maybe a breath. C came up and had her list and asked if I had a few minutes to talk about the wedding planning. I looked at her and told her again, no, that I was not interested in being a part of her wedding and I was not going to help in any way, and she needed to drop the subject and leave me alone. Again, she went into the whole thing of how I was going to do this and how much fun it was going to be. Here we go with that line all of you loved the first time. Why in the ever loving, fresh, creepy heck is it so important for me to be your man of honor? I am not interested in doing it. It is exactly as pretty much all of you told me it would be. She was just planning on using me as a token or a play toy. She took all of the effed up gay stereotypes that are out in society and put them all into one sentence. What modern liberal women what modern liberal woman isn't going to have a gay bestie on her arm for special events? Oh, babe. I felt everything in my stomach move. A wave of nausea came over me, and I felt like I couldn't get to the bathroom fast enough. That pissed Elle off to no end. Elle is really kind of like an overprotective sister that I wish I would have had, and took C off to visit our boss K and laid it all out. Everything that was said, while I wasn't in the conversation, Elle and K filled me in on what was said. Kay came to check on me, and I was still hiding in the bathroom. She knocked on the door and asked if she could come in. I asked her for a bottle of water first. While I was waiting, I realized two things. I realized why I chose not to hang out with her and why I didn't like her. I couldn't figure it out why I didn't like her at first, but there was just always something that gave me the heebie jeebies. I just realized that I didn't like her because she is a different version of my sister. While C is educated and employed, she doesn't care about other people or their feelings. She's like my sister in the sense that if she wants something bad enough, she's going to figure out how to get it. The second thing I realized was that she did exactly what my parents did to me. She completely dehumanized me and reduced me to an entity. Just kind of turned me into a token or a thing for her. I think the word that best describes it as I must be a play toy. What really gets me is that just like my sister, C doesn't think she did anything wrong, and that I'm being too sensitive and delicate like a snowflake. The next day, an emergency meeting was held at work, and C is being suspended pending an investigation and a transfer is being looked into. Kay made the request for her to be terminated. Ooh, the director of emergency nursing said this was a last resort, but she's going to be looking into options which could be sent to her new hospital or facility. This didn't go over well with me. I asked what would happen if she did the same thing to someone else. She didn't really give me an answer, but she said she still needs to look into a few things, but at this point, she's being suspended. Anyways, here it is. I'm still pretty sick and had to work this weekend. If I can respond, I will, but I want to thank everyone for the amazing support. I'm going back to my lawyer to see if he can figure out how to send her a cease and desist letter to make sure that she doesn't contact me. I am heading to bed, so have a good night. Relevant comments say, I'm glad to hear your supervisors heard you and are planning to take measures. I just don't think moving her is enough. Another comment said she's already been moved before, so I doubt this is an isolated incident of treating coworkers poorly. Yeah, I mean, I feel like um with the termination specifically, it's because you can't really discriminate or like I don't know, it's such a weird way to try to get somebody in your wedding, but at the same time it's like, girl, like you just can't say stuff like that. And I think it's really offensive. Like I'm not whether or not what would be offensive or not, but I feel like something like that is just like even somebody who wasn't gay, you don't just be like, "Oh, you have red hair. You would be perfect for my wedding because you have red hair." You know what I mean? Like that's such a I just feel like it would make me feel really like nasty, you know? Like I would be very turned away from that person and not want to anything to do with them. And I think it's very rude. It's also very, very rude to do that to somebody as well. Now, this next update is the conclusion. So this is our last update. And also, I think I need to put this down a little bit. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. So this is our last update. Hi, everyone. First, I apologize for not responding sooner. I have always tried to do what I can to stay engaged with everybody and respond as often as possible. The truth of the matter is I hit a brick wall. Everything with my parents being sick and then Bridezilla, I just kind of lost all motivation to keep conversation going. But I will say this, I read all of your comments, every one of them, and there are not enough words in any language to say thank you for all the amazing support, feedback, and suggestions. I'm truly grateful for everything all of you brought to the table. I went back to my lawyer the other day and told him everything. I told him I only had her name and I did not have her address, but since he has the resources that I don't, I wanted him to find her and send her a cease and desist to not contact me, so he was looking into that. The good news is that C has been terminated. Okay, so I feel like maybe he's not really the only one that she's been doing this to. While I'm not able to talk about all the details, I can say this goes a lot deeper than what she did to me after Kay did some digging and brought some information out that could put our hospital in a serious position. When this information was brought out in the open, it gave the director of emergency nursing no choice but to terminate her, and it could put the DEN in a very serious position as well. Honestly, it has KL and myself looking at potentially for new jobs if this doesn't get properly corrected. None of us want to change hospitals because then we have to start all over with seniority and benefits, but it's a last resort and it's still something to consider. I guess I can say this is closed, or at least I hope it is. I need to move on with my life. I doubt C will be dumb enough to contact me. If she is in enough trouble, this would only make it worse. Again, I apologize for not being able to keep responding back to all your comments, but again, I can assure you I read all of them and I value them as well, and thank you for the amazing support. Relevant comment says, "Thank you for the update. I'm glad she was terminated and I hope that you start feeling better. Virtual hugs and thank you for the work that you do." And I agree. I think this ended pretty good with, it sucks that she got terminated, but at the same time, like when you're an employee somewhere, you have to act appropriately at your job. And harassing your other fellow employees is not the way that you go about that. So, yeah, I don't know. Definitely a story. Definitely a wild ride. So, but we are moving on to our next story. Brother in law's fiance claims that my family never RSVP'd, but I am the only one without a seat. This is a throwaway because I'm not quite ready for all of my husband's family to get involved, I think. I'm still reeling and trying to process, so bear with me. My brother-in-law is getting married soon. My husband is the best man, and our 4-year-old is the ring bearer. I'm a part-time party planner, so I've been helping plan small luncheon for the bridal party. So I've been helping plan a small luncheon for the bridal party, immediate family, and a few vendors on the wedding day. So I'm not exactly a fringe guest here. The RSVP deadline was a few weeks ago. I filled out the online form and submitted it the day the invitation came in the mail, with my husband sitting right next to me. We RSVP'd for the three of us, me, my husband, and my son. Easy peasy, right? Well, brother-in-law's fiance, sister-in-law, reached out today over text saying we never RSVP'd, not, "Hey, I never saw your RSVP, just checking," but straight up, "You didn't respond," which is frustrating on its own. But then she tells us that while my husband and son have seats at the reception as they were in part of her original head counts, I do not. My husband was told that I could come early with him to set up the luncheon and stay for the ceremony, but I would not have a spot at the reception. Let me repeat that I'm married to the best man, mother of the ring bearer, and helping with the wedding day logistics, including connecting sister-in-law with some of my professional contacts. And she somehow decided that I would not be coming, and she never followed up before the RSVP deadline. Just what? I'm torn between feeling furious and just flabbergasted and used. I definitely feel used. At best, this was a sloppy mistake that she is not owning. At worst, it feels like a pointed exclusion. I'm not sure which one stings more. My husband is going to handle the conversation with his brother to figure out what's going on because I genuinely don't trust myself to be polite and keep peace. There was no other drama leading up to this that I was aware of. I have a good relationship with my in laws, so it was totally out of left field for me and my husband. I would love to hear your thoughts, especially from people who've gone through something similar. I don't typically touch weddings with work, so this was all new territory for me as a vendor or guest. My husband wants me to reach out and talk to his brother first, but I'm tempted to reach out to my mother in law before our usual meetup tomorrow to see if she knows anything. There is a small update here. So, husband and brother in law are talking. Brother in law was not working today or last night and was helping father in law with something this evening. So, when I called mother in law, she had brother in law call my husband right away. From what mother in law and I can hear, because we're snooping, my husband was muted on brother in law's phone and my contact was deleted. Brother in law can't log into the wedding website, so he can't check to see if our RSVP was still there. I'm not sure if I want to become a firecracker myself or get some popcorn as I watch mother in law pop off. Okay, so here's the last update. I am tired and a bit overwhelmed by all of your responses. I'm sorry I haven't replied to all of them, but I have read most of them. Again, thank you for your advice, just general support during this really weird and upsetting time. So, my husband finally got a hold of brother in law after I called my mother in law. No one else knew this was going on. While they were talking, brother in law tried logging into their wedding website to see if it was a mistake or misunderstanding, but couldn't log in. So he texted sister-in-law to see if she changed the password, and she just told him to come home instead. This set off three. One, brother-in-law ended the call with husband to call sister-in-law and why she couldn't answer a simple question. Two, mother-in-law popped off about how dare that woman exclude OP. Three, mother-in-law and father-in-law popped off on brother-in-law for already living with sister-in-law. They're very religious and traditional and don't believe a couple should live together before marriage. Husband and I sympathize with brother-in-law. Brother and sister-in-law argued over the phone. Apparently, she started claiming that it was an unfortunate glitch and that it was too late to add another seat. Then it was that we never jived, and would it really be bad if I went home early? Plus, I could take our son home with me because he would be tired by then. At 5 p.m., this woman does not know kids, I swear. Then it was I've always been mean and excluding her from things, even though she's never invited me to any of the girly fun wedding events. At this point, my husband and I are glued to our phones as we're hearing yelling from all four of them until sister in law hangs up. Brother in law is spending the night at his parents' and is unsure about the wedding now. He plans on going home tomorrow, with husband going for moral support, and I will be going with hubby to hang out until we hear back about the situation in the battlefront. Okay, so one more edit. I posted an update, but I don't know how to link it. Oh, okay, so there is an update. Let's go ahead and read relevant comments first. So, you are smart to wait to let Hubs talk to his brother. I am flabbergasted. That is freaking nuts. And this is coming from somebody who's totally laid back and who usually takes things personally. Just try to take your mind off of it and see what your husband reports from there. Opie did reply and say, I'm usually laid back too. I haven't seen the text yet, but my husband called on his lunch break when he saw them, and I have not heard him this upset in a long time. I'm trying to give sister in law the benefit of the doubt, but this feels very personal and intentional. Yeah, it's definitely personal. Sister in law's got a little bit of issues going on here, so but there is an update somewhere. So let me see if I can find the update. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's get into the update. Okay. To preface, I did not expect my post to blow up the way it did. Several commenters mentioned it pop up in their recommended feed, and holy jeez, it got way bigger than I could have ever imagined. So, thank you, I think. And it's gonna get even more attention because I'm reading it, girl. Everybody go see it. More than whoever's on Reddit, I guess. Holy jeez. Oh, it's super overwhelming on top of the real life soap opera I am living through this weekend. Oh gosh. Okay, so we got this story's got me kind of invested though. Just to clarify something from the original post, I did not plan everything for the wedding. I offered to bring food. Oh. I offered to bring food for a small luncheon between photos, 10 a.m., and the ceremony, which is at 4 p.m., as dinner wasn't planned until 6. It was going to be a long day at the farm in the middle of nowhere, so I offered to do it to be nice, but also to make sure that no one, specifically a certain 4-year-old, would be hangry for the ceremony. Sister-in-law only used one of my vendor contacts, so with things going south, my professional reputation shouldn't really be impacted. And part of the update says, turns out that the no seat for OP issue was the problem that broke the brother-in-law's relationship. And we're a bit upset brother-in-law didn't talk to anyone about this until it blew up. Behind the scenes, brother-in-law and sister-in-law were having arguments about their future together. Most of these arguments centered around having kids. Early on, sister-in-law gave the impression that she wanted children, but when they got more serious, she started backtracking. A few months ago, brother-in-law realized it's very likely sister-in-law never wanted kids but felt too invested in the relationship to leave, but brother-in-law imagined having a large family, so it really shook him. On top of that, sister-in-law apparently had jealousy and insecurity issues. Per brother-in-law, I've been her latest target, which started when I turned down going to a mani-pedi with her. Why did I turn her down? Husband and son had rotavirus. Apparently, I was icing her out by not wanting to spread gastrointestinal doom. Can anyone please explain this logic to us? This girl, I don't think that we got into like the ages here, but this girl sounds very immature. I want to know, I kind of want to know how old she is because she sounds very, very immature. Lastly, sister-in-law apparently already floating the idea of disinviting her son from the reception because he would be the only small child there. Brother-in-law shut it down immediately, and mother-in-law and father-in-law kept the knowledge from us to spare our feelings. Our lost RSVP was not a software glitch, nor was it an oversight, but rather stupidly calculated move. Sister-in-law was apparently hoping one of two things would happen. Either I would make a scene about being disinvited and be seen as the problem, or we would quietly accept our fate and she wouldn't have to deal with two undesirables at her reception. With all of this in mind, I can't figure out why she would message my husband instead of me. Was she trying to cause more family drama? Again, the logic is just not logicking. Brother-in-law was already feeling some uncertainty because of the shifting kids with no kids conversation, but the deliberate seating stunt gave him the last push and clarity he needed. Brother-in-law told my husband it was a level of manipulation and cruelty that he couldn't overlook. So he ended things and asked for the ring back. No wedding, no reception, just super messy, emotional, heavy, and expensive breakup. I feel really bad for brother-in-law. He's going through so much heartache right now, but he deserves a better partner. Hopefully, sister-in-law can find a family dynamic that doesn't feel like a never-ending battlefield. That's all for now. I'm still tired, still flabbergasted, but relieved this wedding arc is coming to an end. The relevant comment here says, your non sister in law is a dummy. NOP said, you'll hear no arguments for me. She And then somebody else says she took a calculated risk, but man, did she skip the math. And OP replied and said, "Are we sure she was even using numbers?" Yeah, I think that sister-in-law is very, very immature. This doesn't seem like something a rational or grown person would do, especially like if somebody is sick and they're turning you down from being, I mean, when you have a 4-year-old, because my son just turned 4. If he was sick like that, I would be going anywhere. As a mother, not even to just like not get other people sick, but like you want to stay with your kid. I don't know. She just seems very young, possibly very, very immature. That is such a terrible situation and so drama filled. Like, she should have known the family that she was like like marrying into wasn't gonna take that lightly either. Especially when you're doing that not just to the mother of their grandchild, but also their son and their grandchild and their other son. Like, come on now. Girl, you just messed with the whole family. But conclusion is he called off the wedding. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that like even though it sucks, it's probably kind of glad that they got like her true personality before they actually got married so that he wasn't stuck with her and then having to go through a divorce a month later because this girl is obviously cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So, but anywho, let's see if we have any more wedding stories because we only had, I think we only read one. That would be our third. So yeah, we're gonna read two more stories here because I think we're yeah, okay. Moving on to the next story. Maid of honor got drunk and confessed to be in love with my fiance. Gets angry because she's uninvited. To start off, and before I get attacked, she's been uninvited because she told me to my face in front of several family members and friends. She has only met my fiance once in her life, and I am 100% sure of this. Wait, so your maid of honor only met your fiance one time? Anyways, here's what happened. We announced our engagement to my family and friends a few months ago. But I had a family party to celebrate with some close friends and family members, the maid of honor and the bridesmaids, as well as cousins, aunts, and my mom, etc. The girls made lots of delicious cocktails and we played some games, and everyone was having fun until the maid of honor started feeling dizzy on her fifth jello shot. Shots, everybody. And Miss Ma'am starts getting wild, can't stop laughing, and no one knows what she's laughing at, but we all laugh anyways. All of a sudden, she goes off about how lucky I am and how she never thought that her gamer alternative weird friend would get married, and how my fiance is probably out of my league, so it's 100% luck. You hit the jackpot. She starts praising the man, and we're all like, trying to get her some water so she can sit down and hush up. Cousin starts getting really angry and calls her out for saying things, so they start screaming at each other. I'm trying to call her a cab so we can leave before my family stones her. My mom finally asked her to stop. She says something like, Jackie, you don't want people getting the wrong idea. I don't think you're meaning to say what you're saying right now. But Jackie just won't stop. And she says, well, if I had been there, the story would have been different. My fiance and I met on the last year of college. She went to college overseas for 4 years, which is why they only met once for like 30 minutes. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that kind of makes sense. And that's when I exploded and told her that she wasn't coming to the wedding anymore. Not if she was going to say all those things to me in my own house. I know she was drunk, but I just can't forget what she said. Some of the bridesmaids feel really bad for her and are asking me to let her be part of the wedding party. I'm not sure if I'm wrong or not. She hasn't talked to me since that night, but we've been friends for many years, so I feel like maybe I could talk to her about it. I don't know, it's just weird. I was thinking of letting her come to the wedding as a guest, but the anger with which she says those words won't leave me alone. So, what are your thoughts? Relevant comment says, "You did right. You don't need the drama. She would probably get equally drunk at your wedding and make a scene. Or worse, flirt with your fiance in front of everybody." That would be even more embarrassing. Another relevant comment says, "It should have been me. It should have been me," sobbed the bridal party made its way to the altar. That's the chaos you'd get because it happened to my sister in law at her first wedding. By the way, the groom's response was no, it wouldn't have been when he found out later. OP replied and said, "This is hilarious. I'm so glad he said something. Guys, I wasn't expecting this post to get this many upvotes, but I'm going to get an update. I'm going to give an update here." Oh, okay, so here's an update. "She's still not invited. My fiance and I talked about it and we decided we no longer want her a part of the wedding. I'm meeting with the bridesmaids to talk about it during the weekend, just to tell them that I've made a decision, but yeah, she's not coming and she hasn't contacted me at all, and she's leaving the country in 1 week. I'm not really expecting her to reach out, but I'm also not planning to message or call her or anything." Yeah, I think you're making a right move, kind of just leaving it alone. I mean, drunk words are usually what people don't say out loud. And then when they get drunk, they kind of like let loose and they kind of get a little bit comfortable. And then they start saying things that like they probably want to say out loud but don't. The intrusive thoughts got to this one. And the fact that she's only met this man for like 30 minutes before in her life and now she's like obsessed with him is so weird to me because it's like giving she wants the men that her best friend has. And it's like some girls are really like that. Like if their friend has something, they have to have it. And I just feel like this is not really somebody that you probably want to be friends with. So it's probably best to kind of just leave it alone and not say anything to her. Now, if she contacts you, I probably would ignore it. And if she starts harassing you, block her and just and leave it where it is, cuz it ain't worth it. That ain't worth the drama. Let her go find somebody else's man and leave y'all alone. I guess. All right. I think this is going to be our last story. So it says, "My sister's flirty comments to my fiance are getting out of hand and it's ruining the joy of wedding planning. We're a few months away from our wedding, and honestly, I thought the biggest stress would be seating charts or vendor delays. I didn't expect the problem to come from my own sister. She has a bold personality, but ever since we got engaged, something feels off. The way she talks to my fiance makes me uncomfortable. Compliments that go a little far, late night texts that don't need to happen, and these jokes that are clearly not jokes. Recently, at a family dinner, she laughed and said, 'If you ever mess this up, I'll be first in line.' Everyone chuckled except for me and him. I've tried brushing it off, assuming she's being playful, but deep down it's starting to feel like toxic sibling behavior, and it's making wedding planning harder than it should be. I love her, and I don't want this to turn into something ugly, but I also don't want to keep ignoring something that's making me feel hurt and disrespected. I'd really appreciate some honest advice from anyone dealing with jealousy during engagement, inappropriate family dynamics, or anything that felt like a betrayal wrapped in a smile. How do you move forward without burning bridges or yourself?" Relevant comment here says, "How does your fiance feel about this? It sounds like he is being harassed by your sister and he deserves to be protected from that." OP responded and says, "Yes, he has actually been feeling really weird about it, especially after she started texting him random stuff late at night that had nothing to do with the wedding. At first, we both kind of tried to stay polite and not rock the boat, but it's clearly not being playful anymore. He told me it's making him uncomfortable and that he doesn't want to be around her alone. I honestly never thought I'd be in a situation with this with my own sister, but I'm realizing that I can't ignore it anymore for her sake, for his sake, and mine." Another relevant comment says, your sister or your parents who say that you're overreacting. Ask them what they would say if your fiance was sending late night texts to your sister. If the genders were reversed, everyone would be up in arms. And yeah, I feel like I wonder if there's an update for the story. Let's see, let's see. No, they never gave an update, and I can't find anything in the comments either that other than that, what OP replied to. Let's see, I'll keep going down here. OP, do you have an update for us? Did you confront your sister? I need to know. Alright, well, there doesn't seem to be any more text here from the sister, but hopefully she kind of confronted her sister in a way that came out with a conclusion of, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was being really creepy. Because sometimes people, you know. But maybe she just felt comfortable texting her brother-in-law like that. I don't know, because that would technically be like her brother-in-law at that point. So I don't know, but if she's not doing those things with her sister, or if she's not been known with her sister to do things late at night like that, or like be weird like that, I don't know. It just seems very it seems like your sister kind of wants the attention on her because since you're getting married, all of the attention is on you. And she might be feeling a little bit jealous, especially if your sister is a little bit younger than you. This could be kind of like a jealousy thing to where she feels like she needs to find a way to make all eyes on her. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, I mean, maybe honestly, I would even talk to your mom first and kind of be like, look, this is what's going on. I don't want to accuse her or anything. And kind of see if if your mom is a trustworthy person to talk to and just kind of get her insight on like how she thinks that y'all could handle the situation. Or maybe she could even talk to sister for you and be like, hey, you need to kind of tone it down a little bit because you're making people uncomfortable. But maybe your mom might be able to deliver that in a way that won't make her feel bad about herself or embarrassed because then it might start something and then she might kind of go off. But I don't know. I just know that because I'm an only child, but if I ever had a sibling, I don't think I would feel comfortable enough even being alone in a room with their significant other unless we were doing like a surprise party or something specifically for whoever they are with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't feel like if it was an engagement set up and like they were asking them to get married and they wanted me to help set up, that's fine because that's for them. You know what I mean? Like, but if it was something like, oh, you should go out and get a coffee with me, like, no. No. Unless y'all have been married for like, I think, let's go with like 20 years. Like, you guys have been together for 10 years, you're getting married, you've been together for 20 years after that. Like, you know what I mean? This is somebody that's been in the family for like a significant amount of time. Then maybe it would be okay to grab a cup of coffee with the sister in law. You know what I mean? And it not be creepy. But like, something that's fresh like that, I don't know. But the late night texting, like, girl, babe. And the if it doesn't work out, I'm first in line. Like, why do these people want somebody that they're significant, like that their sibling is with? Why would you want your sibling's sloppy seconds? That is so weird. And how are you guys gonna stay in the family knowing that your sister was with this person? Like, I don't know. It's just really weird to me. I don't like it. I just think that's really it's gross. Don't or like yeah, like people who date siblings. I don't know, it's just gross. But anyways, that was the end of that story. And that was my last story that I'm gonna read tonight. So I really hope that you and guys enjoy this episode. And I hope that you all have a good night or day or whatever time that you're watching this at. I am extremely tired, so I am very sorry. And my mouth is also hurting really bad, but it's okay. Well, we pushed through. We get it. We figure it out. I'm sure it'll go away in a couple days, so it'll be fine. I've just been really stressed out and very, very tired. So, and I'm ready to go. And hopefully I get to go to bed. And hopefully these people go to work in the morning so I can kind of sleep in a little bit. That would be nice. And then I get to play Donkey Kong and get some Raising Canes. Yum yum yum. Okay. Anyways, I hope you all have a good night, day, afternoon, whatever. And I will see you all next time. Bye.